Hi everybody, and thank you for joining me today. So I finished up the flower bud that I was working on last time. I'm now filling in below it. I think there's some leaves, possibly a bit more water sort of peeking out between that flower up there and the ones that are lower down on the piece. So that is what I'm going to be working on today. Yeah, it's wild. I actually have to run my air conditioner today. We're getting all the hot weather we should have had in July. We're getting it now. It's not horribly hot, but for us it's definitely hotter than usual, especially for September weather. Yeah. Sometimes we even get snow as early as this early in the winter. Thankfully not this time, but yeah. So you never really know. Although usually the first few snowfalls don't really stick anyway. But yeah, I often say it's just enough that people forget how to drive in it and make things treacherous. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to snake this up a bit and then back down. Yeah, so I'm thinking that hoping to reach half done this month was a bit too ambitious. Next month might even be a stretch because, yeah, we will see. Yeah, because I'm at almost 146 and 153 is when we reach halfway. And yeah, I'm thinking in the time I have left this month, that's not going to happen because that's another 7,000 stitches. So yeah, we'll see. Definitely before the end of the year, that is a prediction I feel comfortable making. Yeah, like I said, I don't set goals for myself anymore because I was just getting stressed out, and that's not why I do this hobby. I want it to be fun. So yeah, it's a little bit smoky out there today too, unfortunately. So we'll see if it actually gets as hot as it's forecasted, because yeah, I find the smoke and soot and stuff in the air tends to kind of keep the heat out, kind of shields us a bit. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, we kind of have to have the air conditioning on for half the week and then the heat on for the other half. Yeah, kind of wild. Although sometimes what I do is I plan my baking for the days that it's supposed to be cooler. So I figure might as well save turning on the oven for those days. Yeah. Yeah, so there's been a couple times I was like, man, I want some cookies. And then, oh, yeah, never mind. The forecast says it's going to be super hot. I'm not adding to that. I'll wait a couple days when it's supposed to be colder and rainy. That's always a good day to have fresh baked bread. Yeah. Yeah, my in-laws gave me a bread maker as one of our wedding gifts, and that's what got me started on that. And it's funny because they have warnings in the recipe book saying that, oh, because your home-baked bread will not have any preservatives in it, it will go bad faster than stuff you get from the store. But it's like, it never lasts long enough to go bad anyway. Yeah. I make a batch of buns and they're gone within a day and a half. So that has never been a problem. Yeah. Leftover bread, what's that? Yeah, like store-bought bread, I have to freeze because it takes us a while to eat it. But home-baked bread, yeah, that disappears very quickly. Yeah, I don't have an automatic bread maker anymore because that was one they had. It was like an all-in-one oven and mixer. So yeah, you put everything in the bread pan and then it does the it does it all by itself. And yeah, then the motor in it died. The oven part of it still works, so I keep it as a mini oven. Oh, there is, yeah, that is not smooth. Yeah, so I keep it for that, but yeah, I actually got a stand mixer and I use that to mix my bread now. How far back is this knot? Ah, it's probably right here. Yeah, there it is. Goodness. Yeah, unfortunately, that means I have to rip back a lot further than I wanted to. How frustrating. Okay. Oh yeah, I don't know how it got one of those tiny little knots on the back. There. And then when I was stitching with it, it didn't get pulled all the way, so it left a loose little loop. That was no good, but now I think we're back on track. So yeah, like I say, it's such a tiny knot, it doesn't leave a lump, so I'm not concerned. So I did those as well. So yeah, here's the bottom of the pass right down there. So we are slowly working our way across. Yeah, the midpoint of this pattern is actually partway through this pass. And then, as I don't work in perfectly straight boxes, yeah, it's hard to say how far across the pass I will reach. It 50% done. Pardon me. Yeah, I really like Pattern Keeper for keeping track of the numbers, because yeah, I had people say, like, how do you know how many stitches you did in a day? Do you count them? It's like, oh no, I would never sit there manually counting them. That's, yeah, that's time I'd rather spend stitching. I only used to know because I used to keep track of how many days it took me to complete a pattern and then divide, you know, the number of stitches by the number of days and do the math that way. Would give me an average. But yeah, now with the app, it tells you exactly what you've done in a day, which is really nice. Yeah, or some people knew how many if they stitched by individual squares of 100. So, but I have never stitched that way, so that method would not work for me. Okay, so yeah, in this case, kind of working our way over sideways. Some threads going downwards and some going upwards. Okay, so yeah, I tend to work with the ones that are already threaded when I can, before I add new ones. So I hope I'm getting a clearer picture here. I have been experimenting with my camera settings, so I'm hoping this has made for a sharper image. I'm doing my best. All right, so I see I've got some purple coming up here and then some more blues here. So we're probably going to be working across a little bit of a wider area for a while. Yeah. Okay. Ooh. Oh, dear me. Goodness, excuse me. Oh, I think I did have this color out. Yeah, and I didn't realize it. Yeah, I didn't realize it was that smoky, but my throat was a little sore and I was a little worried I was coming down with something, but I think it's just, yeah, irritation from the bad air quality. It's not as bad. Last year I had days that were so bad that my eyes were burning, even just in the house with, you know, the outside air switched off, because we have an option to either the HVAC brings in fresh air from outside or not, depending on the air quality, and we had it on recirculating because of that. And yeah, it was bad. I had to put in eye drops multiple times because, yeah, it was, the horrible air quality was really affecting me. Yeah, my eyes are better now too. I started taking the omega-3 fish oil, and that has really helped because, yeah, it was getting bad even when it wasn't a poor air quality day. I was having to put in eye drops multiple times a day. It's just, and I was making sure that I was, you know, drinking enough water in the day and staying hydrated, and nothing else seemed to be helping. And then, yeah, one of my friends mentioned it, and I thought, okay, I'll give that a shot. And it took, I'd say, a couple of months before I really saw a difference. But now, yeah, my eyes are almost never dry now. So it really worked. Plus, they say those omega-3s are good for your brain function, right? So, yeah. Okay. 9, 3, 1. Yeah, so this is definitely a leaf here, and then I think there's another one that's going to come right about here. So, because I looked at the colors earlier, yeah, so I'm probably going to slope my work around this leaf and fill in sort of what's to the left and below it, and then I'm going to stitch the leaf part later. So, yeah, because there's just quite a bit of stuff to fill in here. Then I won't have quite as many colors to work across at the same time. So that slows me down a wee bit. Oh, come on. Wakey, wakey. Oh dear, I hope I don't have to reboot this. No, it was not a long press. I was just trying to color. There you go. Okay. Took a minute for it to catch up to what I was doing. Let's see if I have to reboot it or not. Hope not. Yeah, like I've said, this is my second Kindle Fire. Oh, yeah. Okay, did that. Okay. Is it still recording? Yes. Okay. Let's see. It's just pattern keeper that's being weird. See if we can get you to work now. Okay. Yeah, so this is my second Kindle Fire. My first one was great, but this one I have not had for very long, like a year maybe, and it has been a lot less cooperative. Actually, I think over a year, but still. My first one lasted for, I think, 4 or 5 years. And it was really only in the last 6 months I was using it that it was really giving me trouble. But this one has been kind of touchy from the beginning. Yeah. Oh, I went through this big rigmarole when I first got it. I was able to do the side loading of the Google Play Store no problem. Because that's the issue, is that they want you to buy everything through their store. And so you have to kind of jailbreak it to load the Google Play Store, because it is an Android device, and most Android devices come with the Google Play Store already installed so that you don't have to do it. And on the Kindle Fire, they want you to use theirs. So yeah, there's a few extra steps involved, and I did that, and I also downloaded Google Drive because that is what I use as my backup, and it gave me no end of trouble. I could install the Google Drive, and I could open up my drive, but it refused to see at first that there were any files in there, and drove me nuts. And I uninstalled and reinstalled, and it still wouldn't see it. You know, rebooted the tablet to make sure that wasn't it, and yeah, it was frustrating as heck. And I ended up actually having to, my husband had to figure out a workaround where I loaded the patterns through Kindle app, because they're technically PDFs, right? And Kindle app can read PDFs. So I had to do that to find a way to load it locally on my tablet, so then I could get it to load into the Pattern Keeper. And oh, it was just the biggest pain. And I was about ready to return it, honestly. It was because, I mean, the whole point that I got it for was to use Pattern Keeper with it. And then but I managed to do it with the Kindle, and then I left it overnight, and I didn't know that. I guess I should have checked for updates, because it updated on its own overnight, and then after that, then it could see the files through Google Drive. But oh, it was such a gong show. Oh, so I said, yeah, I think next time I'm going to splurge and buy the proper Samsung. It's more expensive, but it comes with everything preloaded, and yeah, I think that's probably what I'm going to do. Okay, so I could stitch and stop, but what I think I'm actually going to do is, yeah, I guess I'll fill in all the purple that's in this little sort of inlet here, and then that will allow me to build around it too. Continue stitching those colors there. So sometimes what I would do is take all these threads down and just sort of undo all the needles, reset everything. So I think, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do, because I find at a certain point it's less trouble for me to just rethread things than it is to try to pull them free with the needles still on without them tangling. So that's what I'll do. Oh, I dropped a needle. I'll have to make sure to find that later. Yeah, I got myself the little telescoping magnet thing, and yet I never seem to be able to actually find the needles with it. So luckily it wasn't that expensive. So but yeah, it's kind of annoying because it says it can pick up to objects up to 5 pounds heavy, and obviously a needle weighs a lot less than 5 pounds, but I can never seem to find it with them. So I don't know, I might just give it to my husband at this point so he can use it in the garage. He'll probably get more use out of it than I do. Yeah, I had to one time use, he has those little ones with that you use to grab stuff. They're not magnetic, they're just like little grabby claws. And I had to use one of his really skinny ones once because my kid accidentally, he pushed a card into my piano, and it's an electronic piano, so it slid above the keys and into it, and you can't just open the lid because of the way it's constructed. You would have to actually like get a screwdriver and disassemble it, which I obviously didn't want to do. And so yeah, I had to snake this tiny little thing in and use the claws to grab the card and pull it back out. Oh. So lesson learned after that, I didn't leave any cards on top of the piano, because yeah, that could happen. Because at least with the bigger pieces of sheet music, they're not small enough to get lost in there like a card was. Oh. Yeah, that's when he was like a toddler and he wasn't happy. He wanted the card back. And yeah, you have to find all sorts of ways. I remember once when he was little, he stuck the cap of his marker in under my what do you call it, my coffee table. There's screws in it, but where the screws in is like recessed holes, and it was like the perfect size to shove the cap marker in, and then of course couldn't pull it back out, right? He was experimenting with it, and yeah, and you couldn't get a grip on it because there's only like a couple millimeters showing, and so yeah, I had to take my tweezers and use them like pliers to pull it out again while he's, you know, upset that he can't get it back. It's like, yeah, I had to figure out how to MacGyver stuff pretty well when he was that age. Yeah, the one I couldn't fix was one time he used his teeth to pull apart a piece of Lego and he swallowed it. And it was just one of those tiny little knobs. And it was like, well, sorry, dude. Yeah, that one's gone. And I said, it's a tiny little piece that is not going to hurt you for it to pass through you. And I ain't searching for it in the, in the other end. So, Yeah, you're just gonna have to deal. It wasn't an unusual piece that's hard to replace, so yeah, we're not gonna try and recover that. Oh. Yeah, it's a lesson learned. Don't use your teeth. It's funny because he had those little Lego tools that they have to help pull pieces apart that come with the big sets of Lego. So yeah, but he was always losing them. So I was telling them we should put it right here on the shelf in the same spot. That way, when you need to find it, you know exactly where it is. Of course, I'm one to talk and I don't leave things in the same place. So yeah, as usual, do as I say, not as I do, right? Yeah, they said if you're someone who's always losing stuff that you put in a safe place, instead have some box or something that is designated as your safe place to put everything that needs to go in a safe place in, rather than a place that makes sense to you when you're putting it away, but then will not make sense to you later when you're trying to find it, right? So I haven't tried that, but that's a pretty good idea. Because yeah, I said, no, telling yourself you're going to put something in a safe place so you don't lose it is actually the banishing spell. Yeah, that's where things end up disappearing, where all your missing socks go. And the Tupperware lids. Yeah, I had a piece of Tupperware that it fell out of the freezer and hit the floor and it broke. Well, the base broke, but the lid didn't. And I kind of felt like, I feel bad getting rid of the lid, but at the same time, like if it doesn't fit anything anymore, what's the point in hanging on to it, right? Ugh. Yeah. Yeah, lesson learned now. When I need to freeze something, I put it in I reuse an old container of washed out like a yogurt tub or something. And that way, if it falls out and breaks, no big deal. Not one of my nice expensive, yeah, pieces. Okay. All right. Yeah, so I can see there's more purple here, but I'm just gonna, I think, fill in this purple here and then start filling in the other stuff around it. But as usual, like I say, I often change my plans as I stitch, so we'll see. Okay. Oh goodness. Okay, so to pierce the fabric in the wrong place. Especially on the first stitch. That's fixing that would involve cutting and restarting, which I definitely don't like doing. Okay, tablet seems to be working just fine now. Guess it's woken up now. Oh, whoops. I hate when that happens. Came unthreaded in the midst of stitching. Fair amount of that color coming up. Yeah, my working tray is very full right now. Don't have as many slots left. I'm always checking to see if a color I have out can be put away or not. I think, yeah, I'm going to be using all the colors that are out until I get past the big flower there, which is not going to happen until I've moved the frame. So that's a ways to go, yeah. Move the frame at least once, maybe twice. So that flower's pretty big. Or at least it is when I'm stitching on 14 count. Oh my goodness. I'm not having luck today. Keeping things threaded. Oh dear. still quite a lot of this color left on the pattern because it's going to be used all over the place. A lot more flowers. It's used in both sets of flowers, the ones that are the vines on the other side and the ones on this side, because they're two different kinds of flowers, but yeah, they both use this color. Goodness. Yeah, so definitely slower progress this time because there are a lot more colors here and color changes, so. Okay. Yeah, so I kind of haven't decided where I'm going to make my break here. Just playing it by ear. Okay. Right, so this thread here is not terribly long, yeah. All right, I actually do not have any leftover pieces for once. That's pretty rare. Yeah, especially not midway through a piece. But sometimes that happens. Leave that threaded for now, but yeah, I may not be stitching with that color for a while. We will see. Okay, so I filled in a bunch so that I could start filling in here some more of this color. That's the wrong one, it's this one. Yeah. I don't, like I say, I don't sort of stick to one area. I tend to wander a bit. Out of order here. Okay, let's see. Yes, I'm going to have threads going in different directions. Actually, let's take a look. Yeah, I will do this one first. Let's try that again. There. So I can see I've got purple here, and then this color's kind of hugging around it, and then more purple. I think I will kind of do this purple, the stuff around it, and then keep moving upwards. But, as I normally say, I will see when I get there. I may change my mind again. I tend to do that a bit. Yeah, so my kiddo picked out his Halloween costume. He's going to be Bluey, or actually Bluey's dad, which is funny because he wasn't really a fan of the cartoon, but yeah, that's the one he picked, so. Yeah, I told him he should pick Eevee, but he decided not to, because, yeah. Eevee's his favorite Pokemon. As I said, is it because Eevee's a girl? He said, no, just, yeah, he felt like picking that one, so. Oh, so that's the last costume I buy for you. Yeah. Because he's going to be... This is the last year of high school, so... Yeah. If you want to dress up again after that, you'll have to buy your own. Yeah, he's been... Yeah, we actually didn't have to buy him costumes the first few years because we had a friend whose son was, like, 3 or 4 years older. So, yeah, they gave us all the stuff he'd outgrown. So he got to be... Spider-Man and a turtle. Yeah, he was that a couple of times. Winnie the Pooh. Actually, Winnie the Pooh he wouldn't wear. It was a toddler costume, and he didn't like that it opened in the back instead of in the front. He thought it was backwards, but they put the opening in the back on purpose so that it doesn't split up, you know, because it's wearing the shirt, and it doesn't split the shirt down the middle. But yeah, he didn't like that, so he would only wear the hood. He wouldn't wear the rest of the Winnie the Pooh. So yeah, we never got to use that one. He got to be Ninja Turtle one year. Yeah, we actually recently donated all those to the thrift store because yeah, we don't have friends with kids who are younger than him that would fit them, so yeah, we just donated them so someone else can get to use them. He was Mario riding Yoshi one year. It was one of those inflatable costumes, so yeah, he liked that. He was Yoshi a couple of times, and I'm trying to think if I missed any. Yeah, I think that was it. Oh, and then he was a dog. Yeah, last year he was a Dalmatian. Well, he waited until the last minute, like the night before Halloween, to go pick a costume, which I had been warning him for weeks, you know, think of what you want to be. We'll go to the store if you want, pick something out, because you don't want to wait till the last minute. You may not find anything that fits you. Everything's picked over by then. And yeah, turkey. I kept bugging him, and then the night before, and I said, I thought you decided not to dress up because you know, you never took me up on my suggestion of let's go to the store. And yeah, so they went, and he was lucky. He did find something that fit. So yeah, he was a Dalmatian that year. And then this year he's going to be Bluey's dad, and then yeah, that'll be it. I have my my Star Trek costume because, of course, if you've ever watched any of my videos, you'll probably know I'm a big Star Trek fan. So yeah, I have an original series blue uniform that I wear with the black leggings and yeah, black boots. I actually got an Into Darkness one as well, but I haven't worn that as much because it's polyester and it's short sleeves, and yeah, for us it's usually really cold by Halloween. So yeah, my original series uniform has long sleeves and it's got cotton in it, so it breathes better, which is nice. So yeah, well, I ordered them online and I didn't really kind of pay attention to what material they were made out of, so yeah. Yeah, when I was a kid, actually, our mom made a lot of our costumes. Yeah. She made, she's good at sewing, so yeah, we would go and pick out a pattern and she would make it. So she made a leopard one year. And then when we kind of outgrew it, she reused it and made a cave person one for my sister to wear. Yeah. Yeah, she taught me some sewing, but I'm not particularly good at that. Yeah, I can do basic stuff, you know. Sew seams, I can sort of do darts and take in the sides of clothing and stuff so they fit a little better. But yeah, actually sewing something from scratch from a pattern, not so good at. And I did make a weighted blanket for my kiddo. I actually made one for myself too, so yeah. Yeah, the only thing is you had to be careful when you were sewing it that you didn't accidentally sew over one of the beads and break your needle, which happened a few times, yeah. But yeah, like I basically took a big piece of fabric, folded it in half, and then you sewed sort of like big columns in it. You put some beads down, sewed across, put some more beads down, sewed across, so you made sort of little pockets for them. Yeah. My lines are a little wonky. It's not perfectly straight, but it works good enough. So I was going to tie this off, but actually now that I tack it down, I realize it's so close to here where it's going to be used again. I might as well just park it there. Yeah. Leave that tack stitch in. All right, less than 100 stitches until I reach 146,000 completed. Probably not this session, but I would think later today I which means I'll have done 3,000 since the beginning of the month. So it's helpful because, like I said, I ended last month at exactly 143,000, so that makes it easy to know exactly how many stitches I've done this month. Yeah, don't often end on perfect round numbers like that. Oh, I just realized I parked this wrong. Yep. Because I went to park this next one and realized I already had a strand there because I parked it 2 from the grid line and it should have been 3. That's no problem. That's fixed now. Yeah, occasionally I do that, but generally I can fix it before it becomes a huge issue. Yes, I could have parked sort of either strand over there because they're about the same distance, and I just happened to stitch the bottom one first. So that's the one I parked. This one, that means I will tie it off and save what's left behind. Yeah, I would have used a little piece in here, but this was the one I didn't have any leftover pieces for once. Okay, so let me take a look. The lengths of different threads here. Yeah, this is short. So I was thinking carry this upwards, but no, it's too short to do that. So instead, I'm going to check this one. Yeah, that's longer, so I'm going to carry that one from the top. But before I do that, that means it's time to add another of these gray threads. And yeah, I'm going to have some branching off one way and some the other way because I can already see this color is scattered all over the place. Oops. There we go. Yeah, so I thought I'd be filling in more at the top, but I guess I lied. It changed. Yeah, I find I often end up working more from the bottom up with, at least with this piece, has been happening more often. Just about to accidentally mark my parking in the wrong spot. Don't want to do that. One more stitch out of this, and that's going to be it. Okay, so planning ahead, I could, like I said, continue with these purples down here, but as none of them are threaded, I'm instead going to sort of cut it off here because I can see the colors sort of stop right there. So that's where I'm going to make my break, and I'm going to start filling in above it again. I could choose to, like I said, continue to work downwards to this purple and then build around it. Either one is fine. Okay, but I feel like since I have some of these threaded up here already, that's what I'm going to work on next. So yeah, I'm going to start, because it's kind of making stripes this way, I'm going to start filling that in, minus the leaf ones there, and then yeah, I'll fill that in. I'll probably fill this in and then go to that leaf. Those. And then I think I can actually start bringing that one back and forth. And I'll add a new one later when I'm working downwards. Oops. Darn. I hate when that happens. Might as well just finish this one off. Oh goodness, if I could actually thread it properly, that is. There we go. Yeah, so I had more of an alcove sort of here when I started. Now I've filled that in. Okay. So back up here again in the greens. Now we're going to do what I talked about in the beginning. So work around this leaf, filling in these stripes here. Get to the leaf later. For now, I'm going to leaf it alone. Yes, I'm sorry. That was terrible. stitch a bunch of this color, and then I think I will take a break after that. So even with quite a few different colors, got over 160 done today, so I'm pretty happy with that. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you here next time. All right, thanks everyone. Bye.